Alright, guys, so this is episode number 68 from the P Alpha Music podcast. This is your host, Paulo J. Ruiz Vargas. I'm making sure that you can just watch the other videos. Go to my anchor.fm slash P Alpha Music, whatever. I'm going to link it down below. Today's episode is going to be how important is to master your emotions. Okay, so what I'm gonna do discuss a couple things. What helped me to maintain a certain level of control, not master yet, right? I'm getting there, right? Because mastery is a continuous, learning from wanting to achieve your highest ability, right? To master something, right? You don't achieve perfection, right? You don't do that. You only achieve mastery. Okay, so we're gonna discuss that. How important is to master your emotions? I'm gonna give a list why it's important, and then from there, I'm gonna develop the conversation and see if I can help you guys. Um, why it's important to master your emotion? Okay, you don't want to be subjective to your emotions. You don't want to be reactive. You want to be proactive. What do I mean by proactive? It basically means that you want to be active to a certain way where your emotions are not the one that determines your reaction to certain situations. Okay? That means that instead of being reactive, you're being proactive towards, right? Now, it sounds easy, right? It's not that easy. For a simple reason that in order for you to be proactive, right, you need to have some sort of training. And when I mean training, it means conscious training. You need to be conscious about a lot of these reaction to certain things, right? You get mad with your family, your friends, or the people outside. Yeah. They cause you some sort of cringiness, right, that you cannot hold, right? Politics, religion, anything, frustration. You want to go to the left side, but then all of a sudden you want to go to the right side. You're trying to put something in your cabin, but then all of a sudden it's not. All those small things that can just trigger you to be reactive in an emotional way, right? You don't want to do that, right? You want to master that. So that's why we're gonna discuss how important it is to master your emotions, right? And that way, when you move forward in your life, you don't have to worry about that. Okay. So let me just go through my small list, like always, and I'm gonna just go deep into it. Okay. Um, identified what are you feeling, or identify what you are feeling. Okay. I remember right back in when I was in my 20s, even in my teenagers, I didn't know, but I have a lot of emotional instability, right? Just because I was young. The thing is that I never managed to really identify those emotions, right? So when I come to my 20s, mid 20s, right, all those emotions that never got attended managed to just contribute to my development in those mid 20s years, right? The problem was that even though I knew inside, right, my heart, that I have some problems with emotion, I never knew how to just confront them. I remember back in the days, I used to listen to David D'Angelo's, all these mystery method, the RSD, all that stuff, right? And I come up with one of the David D'Angelo's, I think it was 81 rules of the alpha or something like that. And one of those rules was, I'm probably paraphrasing, but controlling or identifying your emotions. And mind you, this was when I was 24, 25 ish, right, during that time. And I started doing that exercise. Okay. So he said, if you had that feeling popping up, right, try to identify it and try to look for informations, right? why do I feel like this way? Why every time that I get this situation, I feel this certain way? Why you want to do that? Why you want to identify? The better you can identify that reaction, right, is closer to be concrete, right? Emotion is something that we put in a box, right, that we cannot grasp, right? We cannot really touch emotions. We can feel certain way, and we just put a stamp on it, saying, that's an emotion. And reality is that we don't know. So we try to identify those things that trigger us, right? By that, we just want to do an exercise to identify that emotion, grab it, try to look at it, right? Metaphorically, of course, and say, okay, this is what is make me feel this way. Let me look for more information about that, okay? You can do that, Google, Wikipedia, all that stuff. Of course, I would just suggest to go to the professional, but in this case, let's go to the safest way, and remember, the closest way you can just take action to just, move forward on this. It will be try to look for information about it. You feel a certain way. Okay, why do I feel certain way? Why do I react a certain way? And then you learn more about it, right? And all of a sudden you start having solution to it, right? Oh, maybe it be because every time that I go to this way or I speak with these certain people, I get triggered. So let me just eliminate that from my life, okay? So see, everything starts falling right on in the bottle, let's call it, of having concrete visualization of the emotions, right? Identify what you're feeling. That will be the first one. The next one is get used to feel your guts. Okay? And this is very important, right? How you ever have someone tell you, hey man, if you're feeling it in your gut, you might be right. There's a reason for that, right? Your body has the mechanism to tell you when things are in a position that can affect you. Okay? That means that every time that you are close to the situation, you have a gut feeling. Gut feeling, you feel it like it's like something you feel right in your stomach. Like you get like a thing, right? They go up and down. Next time that you have that feeling of the gut feeling, step back. Step back. Don't get too confused about, but what if? No. Get that gut feeling, step back, right? And now see the situation from another angle, okay? There's a reason why you old folks used to say, hey, trust your gut feelings. Trust them. Why? Because it's the closest thing that you have to determine whether the situation is good or not for you. So therefore, if you don't have nobody around to tell you whether this next step or this next thing is good or not, the only one that you have is yourself. Hey, go with your guts. Okay? So next time that you have this next feeling of something is not right, trust your gut. Okay? Next one. Expose yourself to uncomfortable situations. And let me explain why. Every time that we are in a very uncomfortable situation, of course, something called fear will pop, and then it's gonna make you feel uncomfortable. Let's say anxiety is gonna kicks in, and you want to make sure that you master that, right? You master that feeling of feeling fear or anxious about things. You're always gonna feel that, right? Don't get me wrong, that is never gonna go away. If it goes away, it's a red flag, okay? Don't go there, because then you means that you're getting complacent. You always want to make sure that you care about things, right? So you want always to make sure that you have a little bit of comfortness and anxious on it, right? And that way you can just, from there, calibrate. But why you want to be exposed to this type of, situations where you feel very uncomfortable? Because you want to master the simple fact that no matter how you feel, you need to show results, right? You need to perform. You need to move forward, right? The biggest millionaires and billionaires, they're always moving forward in uncomfortable situations, right? They're always moving forward in very, very, very weird, not in their favorite situation. Risk takers. Okay. There's a reason why not a lot of people, right, want to go to the road of being uncomfortable in a lot of situations, and I do understand why. It's because, of course, you don't want to feel pain, emotional pain, if you're gonna go through something that you don't like. But in reality, if there's no pain, no gain. Okay, so you have to make sure that you go through that, and these can be identified in any area of your life. Okay, if you're stuck in one way, if you're not moving forward for some reason, it's because you're too comfortable. Okay, you haven't just achieved a level of above comfort, being comfort. I will say, right. So you need to be very uncomfortable to just move forward. The only way you have to do it is just expose yourself to very uncomfortable situation. Okay. And next one is master the emotion of fear, and this one goes attached with the last one. And I spoke about this yesterday about mastering. Can you? I think it was. Can fear stop you from moving forward? So this is one of the ways that why it's important to master your emotions. And it's that fear is going to always be with us. Okay? Fear always going to be with us. It's something that never is going to go away, but we can master the fact that we can always win against fear. Okay? Fear is just an emotion to tell you what is the situation right now and what is that situation confronted with your mental state at the moment. Okay? It's just your body just telling you what it is in a moment. Why you need to master fear? Because every time you feel fear, you should not connect your fear with your action, right? You don't want to be proactive. You don't want to be reactive. You don't want fear. Now I'm going to react to fear and I'm not going to do anything. You don't want to do that. Fear pops. You feel the emotion. You just let it just sink in and you still go proactive. You say, yeah, I need to do this. I need to be ready for this. I need to just do a presentation. I need to just lead, right? Even though I feel fear, I'm still being proactive. I'm still acting, right, against that emotion. Now, let's talk about the concept itself of mastering emotions. We make a lot of mistakes in life, right? We just attach to wrong relationships. We attach ourselves for wrong habits, with wrong addictions. Okay, a lot of wrong things, right? And a lot of those things are because your emotions are taking advantage of your weak state. Okay, and especially if you're a male, right? We need to just move through the world, right? We controlling our emotions, right? We tend to be very aggressive by nature as males, right? And we want to make sure that that aggression, right, doesn't take the best out of us. We don't want to do harm to people, emotional harm or physical harm. So that's why you want to master that, right? And of course, if you're a female, you listen to it. It does apply in some contexts, but you have to just put it in your feminine side. Okay. Now, what happens if you don't master these things, right? So basically, you're never gonna achieve, right, your greatest state, mind state. Imagine just emotions taking over of you. You'll be using hundreds of drugs, right? Doing wrong things, okay? Being addicted to hundreds of things, right? If you watch porn, all these weird things, right? You do addictions, you do drugs, right? How hard is it for you to just get out of those things, right? Because there's an emotional attachment to those activities, okay? You haven't mastered your emotions. Logically, you know that's wrong, Of course, there's an emotion attached to it. So therefore, you cannot detach yourself from that. Okay. So mastering that level, okay, of emotional, it will grant you what we call freedom. Freedom of choose. You still have those addictions, those emotions, those things popping up, but you master it, right? So you just still do what's right. You still move forward. You're being proactive. You're now not reacting those things, right? So that's why it's important for you to really, really, really master your emotions. Is that way you don't have to go through that kind of pain. Okay? And I do sales, okay? And emotions are something that are always going up and down. Always going up and down. And the reason is because rejection is part of it, right? And because rejection is part of it, right? By nature, I just want to detach myself, okay? I don't want to be part of that, right? I want to, remember, defend myself. But I do the opposite. The more fear I have, the more I want to move forward. The more I just want to go through the bricks. Why is that? I want to be better. There's no pain, there's no gain. And I'm not saying that bad pain when your bones hurt. That kind of pain, like a muscle kind of pain. You know it hurts, but you know it's a good pain. Does that make sense? That kind of pain. Reading kind of pain. My emotions say, don't read because it hurts. But your logical side says, but you need to read. You need to just put fuel into your soul. So just put fuel into your soul. See? All these things are attached, right, to you. And those things are daily activities. Now imagine that you put yourself in this concept and you're just taking things by month and month. You're just missing the small baseball kind of thing, right? If you play baseball, you know, on the outside it looks like a simple game, pitcher, batting, catcher, and there's a couple guys just trying to catch the ball. But then there's more that go into it. The coaches are doing signals, right? The catcher's communicating with the pitcher, and the batter just trying to figure out what the hell the pitcher's doing. All those things are going on in your daily life, right? Because your emotions doesn't only go into the macro atmosphere. The macro is just a reflection and a result from those micro, minute activities that you always trying to win. Okay. You win the war, right, by winning small battles. Okay? That's how you win the war. That's how you master emotions. Small activities, one by one, right? Identifying what is the correct decision to move forward, to combat. Okay? And I understand it's hard in this day and age because you have social media, you have computers, you have everything, right? Sex is all over the place. It's easier to find. You know, so addictions is all over the place. Drugs are very easy to find, right? All those things, you pay for weird stuff that you're not supposed to pay. Yeah, porn, fap, all those things, right? You want to make sure, right, that you control all the things. You need to master it. You don't master it, they would control you for life. Have you ever seen someone that's 65, you look at them, you're saying like, dang, you look, what the hell's wrong with you, man? The reality is that just emotions just drag them down, and you guys know what I'm talking about. So you don't want to be in that position, okay? You want to make sure that when you look at yourself next year, you're completely different. You're not the same. You don't deliver yourself the same. You're in a different, let's call it frequency, right? And that's a little broad term, but frequency means the state of mind that when people talk at you, right, they can look at you straight through your eyes and tell you, damn, you know what? I trust you. Whatever you're saying, I trust you because I know you're a grounded person. You want to be that person, okay? So, how important is to master Your emotions, very important. And I would say the most important thing that you should do every day. Think about it every day. Okay? And for this will be the end of the podcast. Make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure that you go to anchor.fm. Listen to the other podcasts. For now, we're going to keep it short. This is episode number 68. This is your host, Paulo J. Ruiz Vargas. I'm out.